Wes Malott is your cheetah champion. We have his bowling ball coming up next on the Bowling Center.
Gets the strike.
Welcome to the Bowling Center.
Thank you.
We are in Schlub Central. I'm Jason Thomas, the bowling guy. Schlub 1, and this is Schlub 2, Jeff Goodger, the internet bowling personality from Xtra Frame. And we are going to talk a whole lot of bowling, Jeff Goodger.
Why would we talk anything else, Jason Thomas? Bowling, that's why we're here. This is the Bowling Center.
We are going to consume quantities of bowling that would kill a normal human being.
Well, we're kind of immune to that at this point.
I think
we've made it this far.
If we've made it this far, we're going to survive. But Wes Malott, he was the survivor from this Sunday's show, Jeff Goodger.
Barely through the first match. He just got by Clara Guerrero. But then he made easy work of a couple of Schlub Hall of Famers, Pete Weber and Parker Bone III. And Wes Malott looking for that Player of the Year again.
And let's look at some highlights from that show right now.
In the first episode of the PBA World Series of Bowling 5 ESPN telecast, it was the PBA Cheetah Championship, otherwise known as Wes Malott versus the Little People. In the opening match, Clara Guerrero, the first woman ever to make a World Series of Bowling TV finals and just the third woman ever to make a PBA televised finals, was looking sharp in her little red skirt and high-five jersey ensemble, accessorized with a 15-pound Columbia 300 smackdown.
Guerrero strikes to open the match.
I love a woman who can pipe it up 5 like nobody's business. Wes Malott, who seems to be the woman who makes TV's opponent every time, and is 0-2 in those opportunities, got off to a lumbering start and looked like he was ready to go home early.
Open frame for Malott.
Daddy, why is the pretty girl beating up the giant bowling man?
Shut up, kid. He may overhear you and kick the shit out of me in the South Point parking lot after the show. Clara held on to a 15-pin lead going into the 9th frame and could really put the hurtin' on the Big Nasty with one more strike in the foundation frame.
Guerrero doubles, increases her lead.
Now Wes had to strike out to force Clara to get the first hit in the 10th to move on. With the entire country of Colombia rooting for her, not to mention a nation of lecherous American bowling fans who'd like nothing more than 30 additional minutes watching comely Clara hurl a bowling ball at pins, Clara pitched a pretty good shot for the wheat.
And the 10-pin stands.
All in all, another great week for women's bowling and a historic performance by Clara Guerrero.
2:14-2:08 finale. Malott advances.
Match number 2 was a rematch of this season's U.S. Open semifinal, in which Wes demolished the ageless Pete Weber on his way to taking home his first career major. Both these guys still have an outside shot at PBA Player of the Year, and despite their size difference, they both attacked the pins like terriers at a mailman convention.
Semifinal.
Through 6 frames, both men were perfect, but Weber was the first to blink. In the very next frame, Pete's hopes were dashed when he made an unplanned trip to the Church of Greek in the 8th.
And that one comes the other way.
Bounce.
Greek Church.
Freaking commercial break.
Wes just kept on striking and had a chance for the 23rd televised perfect game in PBA history when he stepped up for his second shot in the 10th.
And a solid 10.
Ooh, that was a close one. Word is that Pete Weber was ready to say, "Who do you think you are? You are!" if Wes had gotten the last 2 strikes and shot 300. Before the title match got underway, it was time for a little PBA League Challenge skills competition. And this week, the players had to bowl a 9th and 10th frame blind. Well, not exactly blind, but under a giant curtain with a hypnotic graphic projected onto it. Sean Rash went first and took the early lead with a respectable score of 48.
With a terminal score, Rash drops a strike.
Norm Duke, who some might say had an unfair advantage due to his not exactly gigantic stature, threw a solid 49 to assume the top position.
And Norm gets it. Sweet shot.
After the rest of the field played their turns, Duke still led with 1 bowler left to go. That bowler? PDW. Pete threw the first 2 strikes and needed one more to snap off Duke and earn top points for that week's skill.
And Weber perfect.
After winning, Pete went over to Wes and asked, "Hey, do you think we can re-bowl the semifinal match with the curtain up?" Wes declined. In the final, Wes took on Parker Bone III, a player who he's utterly dominated on TV. Heading into the match, Parker looked a bit like Rocky Balboa in the first Clubber Lang fight. And when he threw an open frame in the 5th after Wes opened with the front 5, he started to look like dead meat.
World Series. That one cuts around. And a split.
After Wes finally missed in the 6th, Parker had a chance to apply some pressure in the 7th with the double.
Oh boy, big 4.
The rest of the show was a coronation for Sir Strike-A-Lot. And when all was said and done, he was the king of the Cheetah, which is his 2nd win of the season and his 9th overall.
PBA Cheetah Champion, Wes Malott.
One more and you can start punching the big guy's ticket to the PBA Hall of Fame.
Welcome back to the Bowling Center. And I've got a list here, Jeff Goodger, which is, if you hang out with us out on the road and you spend a little bit of time with myself or Mike J and you will notice that we have a rare disease that we like to call bowling Tourette's, which means that every now and then, pretty much every 20 or 30 seconds or so,
At least.
we will spout a random phrase of iconic calls from past PBA telecasts, and just to amuse ourselves, I guess.
I don't even think it's that. I just think it's built into our brains.
Yeah, so we decided to put together a top 10 list, so if you ever run into us, you will recognize these phrases that, that are coming out of our mouths constantly. So number 10 is, I think, one of your favorites, Jeff. Number 5.
Number 5! Are you kidding me?
That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right!
So you'll see Jeff Goodger eating some chicken McNuggets at McDonald's, and he'll get to the 5th one, and he'll say,
Boy, these sure are some disgusting chicken nuggets.
but when you get to the 5th one,
Ah, I cannot believe I've already eaten 4 of these. But now, as hideous and disgusting as this is, at least I'm up to number 5! You kidding me? That's right!
So moving right along, number 9. Number 9's kind of my thing, and it's a Tommy Jones quote. He's used it a couple times on TV, but like when he wants to get the crowd fired up, he'll go, "Get the game!" And it usually gets the crowd fired up, and lately it's been getting his opponent fired up, and he's lost a few of those encounters. But number 8 is another one of Jeff's favorites. It happened at the Dick Weber Memorial Tournament a few years back at Fountain Valley. Pete Weber took a photographer to task, and what was his exact quote there?
Do not flash the camera in my approach.
Right. He says that, and so Jeff, anytime something happens with a photographer or for anything, he'll just say,
Don't feed me chicken nuggets while I'm making my approach.
Exactly. So, number 7 is one of my favorites. A few years back we had the Bottlegate 2 controversy, and there were obviously some unfortunate words chosen by Sean Rash, which he's apologized for, and I think that's blown over. But he also had some nice little gems in there that we like to use, especially like when we're unloading the extra frame equipment and we're ready to have some fun. We say, what do we say? Let's have some fun!
Let's have some fun!
Why is that? It's
I don't know.
We're tired of
sick.
it.
We are sick. Number 6 on the list is another Sean Rash gem. He had a long period after going 7-0 on TV where he couldn't win. And he finally broke that string at the end of last season when he won the Tournament of Champions. And Jeff likes to demonstrate.
Thanks for throwing everything to me,
the
Jason.
iconic scream. I said get in the game. You're going to say this one.
I've never heard get in the game in my life until today.
See, well, that's why I had to do it.
So I'll throw this back to Jason for this one.
Brings it in.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I often make a lot of mistakes.
Really?
It's kind of what I do.
Oh.
It's my thing. I just walk around making mistakes all day like Mr. Magoo. And one thing I noticed is that something that happened on a PBA telecast a couple of years before, it actually was the first Bottlegate incident when Brad Angelo called out Jason Belmonte on television. The way that he started that call out was by saying, "Come on, Jace."
Come on, Jace.
And so anytime I do anything wrong, I find myself saying,
Come on, Jace.
I find myself doing that even when you're doing things right.
Come on, Jace.
yeah. So in my mind, whenever I make a mistake, Brad Angelo's in my head telling me.
Come on, Jace.
Number 4 on our list.
What a horrible brain to inhabit.
Yeah, that's only one of the many voices in my head. Number 4 on our list comes courtesy of Mike Fagan, who, if you're a really hardcore PBA fan, you know that Mike Fagan, he comes across on TV as being a little dry, but if you get him outside the lanes, he's really funny, and he does some really great impressions. And one of the great impressions that he does is Austin Powers, whose favorite phrase or the most popular pop culture catchphrase that he came up with was, "Yeah, baby!" And guess what Mike Fagan said when he won his first major, right after the clinching strike?
Yeah, baby!
Number 3, we've mentioned a couple of iconic moments that have kind of come at the expense of Jason Belmonte. Well, this one, he signatured it, he created it. And we had a doubles tournament at the World Series of Bowling a few years back, and he teamed up with Pete Weber, which was an awesome team to watch. And Pete Weber threw a strike to clinch one of the matches, and Belmo said,
That's right, baby! That's Pete Weber! That's right! Pete Weber!
That's why you're Pete Weber!
That's right. Number 2 on our list, going back to Brad Angelo, had a tight match with Chris Barnes a few years back, and Chris Barnes took exception to a Brooklyn strike that Brad Angelo threw, and so the next shot, Brad Angelo packed dead flush in the pocket and said,
3 strikes in a row for Angelo.
That wasn't a Brooklyn shot there.
yeah, that was a good one. And then he threw another strike and said, that wasn't either. So that was a great. But the number 1 comment that you will hear us schlubs on Extra Frame spouting to each other time after time after time, and it never gets old, was the iconic call of Pete Weber's clinching strike at the U.S.
Strike
Open.
to claim it.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
Gary Thorne, baby. He did 3 episodes of the PBA telecast and has one of the most iconic calls in the history of the PBA.
Pretty good percentage.
Well, there's our first and probably last top 10 list ever on the Bowling Center, Jeff Goodger.
I would think so.
Yeah, well, let's hope. But maybe we'll do one in the future. But we definitely have bowling Tourette's. And one other person in the bowling industry that has been accused of having Tourette's is PBA Tour star Patrick Allen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, who we're featuring with Mike J. Laneside in this edition of Beers with Bowlers.
Having a beer with Patrick Allen, a career highlight. Patrick, thanks for joining me.
Good choice, brother.
Patrick, I've known you a long, long time. Professional bowler. You've made a career out of this. If anyone has seen the ups and the downs as a competitor in professional bowling, it's been you. How do you assess your career to this point?
Well, like you said, it's been a lot of ups. Recently, there's been a lot of downs. It's been a tough last couple of years. When I first came out here too, after bowling all the team challenges and stuff back in the 90s, there was a lot of downs too, but that was a learning curve, and I didn't realize these guys were that much better than me, but they were.
Tell me about where you grew up and the things that you kind of learned before you got into professional bowling.
Well, I grew up just north of New York City in Westchester County. Bowled a lot in the New York metropolitan area. I learned how to bowl in a hostile environment. There was a lot of what they call action back in the day that I bowled. Guys bowling for a lot of money. When you throw a bad shot, when you needed it, guys would give you the business too. They weren't afraid about it. It's not professional bowling where you get the golf clap. or the when you don't throw a good shot. It gets a lot more volatile than that.
Is there a particular incident or story that comes to mind?
The most memorable match I ever bowled was with another really good amateur bowler who never made it on tour. He got very successful working. His name was Chris Viali. We bowled a match down in Queens. It was like maybe February of 1990. And I think the bet was like 1,400. We were bowling a doubles match, and he needed a mark to shut the game out, and he left the 7-10. Obviously, after he leaves the 7-10, you know, all the mouthing starts, you know. Then the other guy gets up and he needs a mark to win. He leaves a 3-10. So Viali needs to make the spare to shut the game out. Well, I went over to the other side of the center. It was a 2-lane center. It was a 2-side center. Well, about 35 seconds later, I heard this big roar. Well, I walked back over, and he made it to win. Definitely the most memorable match that I've ever bowled.
Well, I'll toast to that.
Yes,
bro.
sir. Thank you. I did quit.
When I was 15 years old, a bowler named Bob Benoit came out of nowhere to qualify for his first career PBA Tour telecast. Like me, Benoit was a bit on the small side, a total underdog, and his opponent that day was one of the sport's titans, the legendary Mark Roth. But Benoit was unfazed, and he kept on striking and striking. And one of the things that the great color analyst Nelson Burton Jr. said that day is something that I'll never forget.
A lot of people said to me, this young man will choke. I says, don't count out these tough young guys. There's probably been whipped around a schoolyard by some bully sometime, but put a bowling ball in his hand and look out, he's Superman.
Bob Benoit would go on to bowl a 300 that day and defeat Mark Roth. But the thing that stuck with me through all of these years is that bowlers are truly like superheroes out on the lanes.
Yes!
Today, pro bowlers can do even more amazing things with a bowling ball. They can toss them over large obstacles and still strike.
Ouch! Is that ridiculous or what? That's just sick!
They can convert what were once thought to be impossible splits.
Oh! Look at that extra frame, brother!
And they can make the ball hook and destroy the pins like never before.
10-10 Messenger, down he goes! And he got it! Yeah, baby! Can he strike again? Can he get the kick? Yes, he does!
One of the strange things about bowling, which is why I love it so much, is the love the equipment gets and the general apathy the players get. So, in catering to bowling fans around the world, we have yesterday's Cheetah Champion right here with us. This is the Totally Defiant from Roto Grip. And Jason, we're gonna talk to the Totally Defiant and figure out how it won yesterday.
Yeah.
So, Totally Defiant, what was your game plan going into yesterday? Okay, and would you say maybe Mr. and Mrs. Malott did a tremendous job making a piece of equipment to throw you down the lane? You have anything, Jason? I don't have the charisma.
Yeah, I have a question. What is your surface and layout for this particular choice of version of yourself?
Well, thank you to the Totally Defiant for joining us here in studio. Congratulations on your Cheetah Championship. And we look forward to seeing you in action in the weeks to come.
Fascinating stuff. But Jeff Goodger and I, we have two more of these puppies that we're about to go drill in this week's version of The Drilling Room.
Well, Jason, we're back in the man cave.
Yes.
And to me, that means one of 7 things. Today, I think it means we're going to drill some balls.
Yes, we are. We've got 2 Roto Grip Totally Defiant. Thank you to Mike Flanagan from Storm and Roto Grip for sending us these beauties. And
we just saw Wes Malott yesterday win the Cheetah Championship with it, and it inspired me to want to go out and win the Jason Thomas Challenge with it.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. But first, I'm going to try to drill you a ball that will give you a chance to win. So first, we've got to put some surface on it to match up your game. We know Jeff's rev rate's a little bit lower than mine.
I'm hustling, Jason.
And so we need to put a little bit more surface on Jeff's before we start with the layouts.
Playing solitaire till dawn with the deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me.
All right, so we got our Totally Defiance. This is the internet bowling personalities here on the left. We got 1,000 surface on it. We've got a 3-inch pin from the positive axis point. CG's kicked out a little bit, mass bias down here. So this ball's going to pick up a little bit earlier than this one. This one's a pin up, 5-inch pin from my positive axis point. And I'm going to leave it out of the box surface so it's a little shiny. So that is the difference between the 2 balls. Let's drill them up. All right, Jeff Goodger, I've got my Totally Defiant. You've got your Totally Defiant.
True.
Let's head over to the lanes and settle it out there.
Let's go, bowling guy.
Sometimes I try to do things and it just doesn't work out the way I want it to. And I get real frustrated. They're like, I try hard to do it, and I take my time, but it just doesn't work out the way I want it to. It's like I concentrate on real hard, but it just doesn't work out. And everything I do and everything I try, it never turns out. It's like I need time to figure these things out. There's always someone there going, hey Mike, you know, we've been noticing you've been having a lot of practice, you know? Maybe get away. And like, maybe you should talk about it, you'll feel a lot better. And I go, no, it's okay, you know, I'll figure it out. Just leave me alone, I'll figure it out, you know? I'm just working on myself. They go, well, you know, if you want to talk about it, I'll be here, you know? And you'll probably feel a lot better if you talk about it. So why don't you talk about it? I go, no, I don't want to, I'm okay. I'll figure it out myself. And they just keep bugging me. They just keep bugging me. And it feels on the side. It's got me, it's still time, so come afraid on the side. You will not be inside, I'm afraid I get this shit away. I'm not crazy. You're not crazy. You're trying to be crazy. They take me in and it's soon as they want the only solution to give me. I want to be the enemy of myself.
Really?
That's a good one.
Nice.
Try to believe, though the going gets rough, that you got a hand tough to make it. History repeats itself. Try and you succeed. Never doubt that you're the one, and you can have your dream. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Fight to the end, 'cause your life will depend on the strength that you have inside you. I gotta be proud, standing out in the crowd with the odds in the game by you. Try your best to win the ball, and one day time will tell. When you're the one left standing there, you
Well, Jason, the same way every time you meet a celebrity, you have them autograph your back and then get it tattooed on. I'm never taking this ball off my hand.
I wouldn't either. Bowled your first, high five, by the way, first 700 series. That was pretty cool, even though it came at the expense of me looking like a complete and utter loser.
Yeah, that makes me 2-0 now, and this time was for real. No cheating, no handicap. Well, add my handicap. Jeez, I crushed you. Wow. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, so moving right along in the show now. I should be the grumpy one here, but Jeff is actually going to take a crack at this week's version of Troll Bowling.
We get a lot of questions. Why isn't bowling on TV? It is. Bowling is on TV. It's been on TV for far longer than I've been alive. And I don't understand why you can ask, why is it not on TV? Am I supposed to go to your house and turn on your TV for you? Do I have to go buy the TV for you, then take it to your house? Do I have to buy you the house, then buy the TV? How many things do people have to do for you so you can find out whether or not bowling is on TV? Sorry, Jason. All the shows are taped, so they suck. That is true. I fully agree with that. A taped show sucks. I don't watch any movies or TV shows unless they are being broadcast live. Also, I've never seen a movie or a TV show. I'm not even watching this show right now because it's taped. Sorry, Jason. So I don't know. I fully agree with everybody. The PBA should be mailing TVs to everybody. Should be buying houses for everybody, sending those TVs, buying cable packages with ESPN, or going back to ABC because it's just as simple as doing that. And everybody will be able to watch bowling again. We need to get it back on TV. I agree. I'd like to watch bowling. It's on TV, Jason.
All right, Jeff, and since we're on TV next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, we've got the Viper Championship coming up, and what can we expect with that show?
It's going to be a good show, Jason. We have Jason Belmonte, we have Stuart Williams, we have Chris Barnes, and we have Ryan Simonelli, and that is in ascending order from 4 to 1. That's your step ladder. We are going to have another World Series of Bowling winner, and it will be one of the superstars on the PBA Tour.
Yeah, so watch next Sunday, and then the following Monday we will be on again with the Bowling Center, and we'll recap the Viper Championship and also talk about the Chameleon Championship and do all the other fun stuff that you've come to know here on the Bowling Center. So thanks for joining us again this week. I'm Jason Thomas, the Bowling Guy. For Jeff Goodger, the Internet Bowling Personality. We'll see you next week.